Hi my Goth Mod squad, welcome back to my channel where after 5 years I'm finally ready to take a look at those funeral pictures of my late mother. Let's do it. If you're brand new to my channel and are just wondering what goes on here, my name is Nath and I am a goth. I lead a very gothic lifestyle, as my main channel can really testify to. And I am an autistic musician that loves music, loves talking about it. So if that is your gig in town as well, consider subscribing to this channel. Okay, this is my second channel, okay, and my main channel is Nath Elliott-ross, at Nath Elliott-ross. So give me a sub on both if you're feeling generous. Okay, on with today's video. So my mother actually could make an appearance. So if you guys see any like orbs, you know, that those white, very fast, you know, no matter what I'm doing, either on Tenor Reacts or just taking a normal photo, I always manage to, so I know my mother's with me 247. That's a bit stalkerish, Mum. This is my favourite picture from the whole thing, actually. So that that's my brother's gigantic kind of, I don't know anything about cars, I just know how to drive them. So I don't know whether it's a Land Rover or it's a monster car, you know, that's parked on my mother's drive. That's the Undertaker in the grey, I assume, and those two in the road, I presume, are the drive. I don't know, but that they work with the Undertaker or funeral director. And that against the gate is my sister-in-law, and I don't even think my brother well, he might know now, knows that I took this photo. Such a gothic thing to do, isn't it?
Let me take a picture of coffee.
It's like gruesome, but I'm so glad I did it. You know, I'll tell you why at the end, and then you'll understand. But yeah, but it's weird to imagine that my mother was in that coffin. It's a very nice coffin, I must say. You know, brass handles, nice. So many flowers. You know, the wreath. Is it called a wreath? You know, on top of the coffin. And I mean, my brother must have spent so much money just on the flowers alone. Okay, so this one is a clearer picture of the hearse and Mum in the hearse. I'm not being funny. Can we just like what looks like a raven, a crow, isn't. It's a flag. You know, so just, if you're in any doubt, it's a hearse. You know what I mean? I don't like that hearse. I don't like silver. I don't want you guys thinking, oh, this didn't affect you, you know, because you're snapping away, and like, it did, but don't forget where I stand on the whole death culture thing. You know, I can view it. Yes, of course I was upset, and I would, you know, I tried to keep it together, but as soon as, you know, the coffin or the curtains started to, like, and the coffin kind of went on its journey to the furnace, I lost it. That was the point where I thought, yeah, now you can break down. Furnace, the cremulator, and you know, I know what's gonna happen from here on. I wasn't as graphic with my brothers, you know, that kind of stuff they don't need to know about, really. If they asked me, I would, you know, probably, this kind of happens, that kind of happens, you know, I would never wish to upset them on purpose, but yeah. What did occur to me when I took this picture, what did occur to me was the fact that, oh, she's dead in a box, in a coffin. That was a very sobering thought, because, which I will touch upon at the end of this video, we did not get to see her. So literally, this was, in all intents and purposes, our viewing. So yeah. Okay, so this flower display, floral display, you know, was from my nephews. No, it wasn't. They had, oh no, this one, it's been 5 years, guys. This one was from me and my brother. Okay, the one who, well, I'll get onto that in a sec. So this is from me and my brother, the one in that expensive suit. Okay. And I remember almost having, well, almost joining my late mother when I found the price. For 3 letters. There's only 3. They price each letter. This is, what? And they don't last. But my brother did take the floral displays, because there were 2. We're getting on to the second one in just a second, back home, and he kept them for my nephews in the garden, which was nice. Okay, that's another one, another angle. I do like the roses at the corner, And I think the colours, the blues and the whites, because she supported her local football club, the town, those were the colours. I think that's the story behind that. Right, okay, so this one was from my nephews, my 3 nephews. I'm just thinking, how much did that cost? Because that's 1 letter extra. I don't know if my mum was that fond of yellow though. Okay, this is where I get a bit... It is bittersweet. And I... this is me laying it on the line. Okay, for everyone watching, you know, I always used to say, and I still do, if I remember it, you know, you're born, you've got that messy part in the middle, which can be considered life, and then you die. Okay, I'm sorry to break it down in those terms, but, you know, it's what you make of the stuff in the middle, you know, that counts. Okay, and, you know, I did not realise how much a funeral would be if you were outside a funeral plan. Okay, because my brother and I, the one in the shiny suit, kept on about, come on mum, you really need to kind of organise this. You know, we don't mind sitting down and going through it with you, but you've really got to commit yourself now. You know, and everything was, God love it, I love you mum, but you know it to be true, everything was, yeah, tomorrow. In the end, I'm sorry to say this, her tomorrows ran out. Okay, so she died and we had nothing in place. We had a sort of will. We kind of knew what she wanted, but nothing for definite. It's a good job there wasn't a massive falling out, but both my brother and I, you know, were on the same page. You know, and essentially, because I'm so emotional, you know, and it wasn't just losing a mother, it was losing my best friend. I told my mother everything. You know, we shared secrets, we shared tears, we shared joy. And because I am that emotional wreck, I just said, look, you know, you've got my backing, okay, do what needs to be done, because I'm not at a place at the moment where I can be that elder brother standing up and, you know, it's awful really, isn't it? I should have been the one, I feel that, right, but I also know I'm not that person, so, and my brother fully understood, and he arranged the funeral, and I think, you know, everything from flowers to the undertaker's fees and everything, that whole list, you know, hearses, separate cars. Well, there was only one hearse. Catching up. One hearse, but there were other cars flowers. I can't actually remember, but it came to about 8 or 9 thousand pounds. Just take that in. 9. I think it was closer to 9 than 8. And I went halves because my brother paid it. Okay, God knows how he afforded it, because he had a young family. And so I went halves. I had to take out a loan, a personal loan. Not that I felt obligated, because my brother wasn't pressuring me at all. That's not the relationship me and my brother have. We're cool beans. Always been close, always. But what shocked me more than anything was I didn't realise, like flowers, they give you a price list per letter. That just blew my mind away. It was like, wow, okay. Because if you had a funeral plan, me and my brother, discuss this in length. If she had a funeral plan, it wouldn't have. I mean, the fact that a funeral is always going to, cost beans, but it wouldn't have been. The thing is that there were nasty surprises in there, and on top of what we'd already been quoted, if that's the word, for the ballpark figure, and we had to get it sorted pretty quick, because the funeral directors were talking about taking us to, well, I don't know if it's court, but they were certainly talking about like debt collectors, because they only give you about 6 months, as I recall, to sort this out, because I can this is not me coming after the funeral directors. I know they've got a business, that they were so sweet. They were so very professional and sweet, and showed kindness and compassion when we really needed it. But having never dealt with this, I went to the bank and said, look, I need half of like 9 grand. Do you know what? We felt it was an expense, a hell of an expense, but it kind of felt good that we tried to give her the best send-off we could in the situation, but because she never made any black and white plans, most of it was reading between the lines of the woman we knew, the mother we knew. So yeah, that were when we got the final bill from the funeral director, and wow, yeah. And the other thing, very, very quickly, I will tell you, is, so she died like that suddenly. I'd only spoken to her because I was living in my old house, the Victorian house, at the time. When was it? On the Wednesday, and she died 24 hours later, and it was a sudden kind of death. My brother, because the police had contacted my brother, the local constabulary contacted my brother about 1 o'clock in the morning, and he got in contact with me, and you know when the world just stopped spinning? You're trying to make sense. You're trying to make it all make sense. You know, and it's like, you know, one of those, you're replaying every little negative thing or situation that you've had with that person. It's a long time, I would say, until you can, you know, remember the good times. You know, when you first hear about it, I would say the first 3 years are the worst. Well, they were for me anyway. You know, my brother's a lot stronger than me. His mindset is, well, he's a businessman, so I guess his mindset would have to be that directional kind of. But for me, 3 years were the worst, and it didn't help. You know, the fact that we weren't allowed to see her, but
We advise most strongly that you do not come and see your mother. She is not in a viewing state.
God only knows what she suffered, and I mean, I'm torn. Half of me is, well, I'm goth. I've seen much worse in horror films. You know, let's do this. But when it's your mother, see where I'm coming from? I because I don't know, I guess I will always have that going around in my head, you know, as a, should you have argued the case? What state are we talking about? Is it, you know, I don't know. I don't know. We did get a chance on the morning of the funeral. We did get a chance, which both my brother and I did take, to see her, but we didn't see her. You know, we went to the funeral directors, and it was in a suite room. You know, I remember being offered a coffee from the coffee machine, you know, and she was obviously laid out in the coffin. A very small room. You know, you couldn't swing a cat. But both me and my brother had equal time to use that for whatever. You know, and I don't think I used that well. You know, I hardly spoke to her at all. I actually wasted what time I had. Looking back on it now, I felt very uneasy talking to her in a pine box. I think it would have been different if it was an open kind of coffin situation, like open casket, you know, because I would, at least I'd be, yes, that is my mother. Yes, let's totally have a final conversation. It did upset me an awful lot, because here was I looking at a coffin. I knew my mother was in it, but I just couldn't bring myself to have a conversation with a tree. Essentially, I was not up for that. I found it I was very uneasy with that. And also being in an alien space, in a funeral directors, and I'm supposed to unburden myself. I'm supposed to totally open my heart in this strange space, open up the channels of conversation where I'm uneasy anyway, regardless of this alien space, of this coffin, and I didn't think I would be. I didn't think I would be that uncomfortable, you know, because I love coffins. So I essentially ended up wasting what time I had alone with my mother. I can't remember whether I felt anything in that room. I felt loads of things since, you know. I've seen loads of things since. I've heard loads of things since. So maybe, you know, what didn't happen in that room, in the funeral directors, happened. It's a now thing, and it's a present thing. I don't know. Okay, if you have enjoyed this video, please consider and subscribing down there. It helps me out and this second channel out a great deal, and I will see you on the next one.